What's up? What's up? Welcome to another edition of the Part of the Culture podcast. I'm here with my boy Joshua, aka Josh. How you doing today?
What's going on, man? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Amazing. Amazing.
I invited him to. He's actually the first guest that has done a podcast in this new setup in my home. And so, I like the podcast because you could connect with people and tell them a little bit about yourself, tell them about your business, and then we can kind of get into some gems in your story.
Uh, I mean, just a little bit. Like, all right, my name is Joshua Page. 39 years old. I was born in Staten Island, New York, but I lived in Baltimore most of my life. And I moved here like back in 2016, and pretty much I'm an event space owner. I own an event space in downtown San Jose. I've been doing that for about 2 years now. So, it's looking pretty good. It's looking up. So,
Yeah, that's actually why I invited him here. Is so I was doing, which I want to get back to, but I was doing my business mobile program every Wednesday for free. And I did some online and I did some live. And Joshua and his wife actually wound up coming to one. We did it at the Blue Plant. This is why sometimes like free events, people are like, oh, free, you're giving it away, but it creates connection. And so that's how we actually met. And then he actually was like, hey, I love what you're doing. He's like, if you ever need an event space or something to do it, let me know. And so I wound up using his event space. We did a goal setting workshop with my friend Arlie. She's kind of behind the scenes. If you ever been to one of the business mogul programs, she sets up the event price and she does all the copy and things like that. And so me and her did one at his space, which was cool. I got to check it out. But I wanted to, on the Part of the Culture podcast, one of my goals is like to always drop gems. You always want to be a little bit entertaining. So you just naturally having a business, you have gems. And so what made you get into the event space? And like before we get into the whole story, would you recommend someone getting into the event space after what you know now?
uh, well, I think this is what I would say is like, um, it's not even really like about the event space. I mean, yeah, I would encourage anybody to get into event space, but I also encourage anybody to get into entrepreneurship in general because it it's really a mind shifting experience that I've had um going into it because before I even started the business,
Yeah.
um, I was an electrician.
Okay.
So like, I just go to work, go home, clock in, clock out. I'm a union electrician, so like we got this saying like, you do 8 for 8. You know what I mean? So like nothing more, nothing less. It's just like you do 8 for 8 and that's it, right? So it's like becoming an entrepreneur is like uh I feel like you have to adapt like a entirely new mindset, and every day I've always been learning like new things.
Yeah.
So like that's um like I guess what I'm trying to say, like your question was, should anybody start an event space? It's like it's not even really about the event space. I would just Anybody really should just start a business and just like really try to do something that they love or they enjoy, and just kind of see where it goes.
I agree 1,000%. I think that entrepreneurship has molded me to who I am. I think one of my favorite things is like the doors it opens. So
Mm.
money's cool, but I feel like you can't ever really hold on to the money. Like you may make 1,000, 10,000, but he was just telling me a story. His sink mess was broken, so that's money out the door. Right now, I'm waiting for refrigeration person. One of my vending machines isn't draining properly. Could be $100, could be $400. So like, it's not always about the money because you can lose money with entrepreneurship, but I don't, if I didn't have a business, and sometimes if you do like the 8 to 8 model, you don't have conversations like this and you don't
Right.
connect with people like this. And so I think more so than just the money, I feel like the connection is huge. What's one of the biggest shifts for you going from that 8 to 8 to like that um entrepreneurial spirit that kind of like had a positive effect on your life?
Well, I think like for me, it's like because I like at least the way I feel about it, right? Entrepreneurship is like it's not just about the money, it's about like your it's about everything. It's about like your relationship with your family, your friends, like it's about being more of a leader,
Okay.
um getting closer to God because you definitely need it because it's stressful.
Oh, for sure.
uh and you know, it's just such a uh there's a whole lot to it. Like it's just so many things, but like that would be like the main thing is just like when I got into entrepreneurship, I was just thinking like, okay, I just need to make extra money.
Yeah.
Like if I could just make like I remember like I told you before, like even before we started, I was talking about how I used to stream all the time.
Yeah.
I remember thinking to myself, like, man, if I could just make what my rent is streaming and playing video games, man, that would just be great. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's just like and that bar is just like it's just like that's it's so low. Like I could just step over that now. Like
You
I,
make a lot of money streaming too?
well, no, I wasn't making money that much money streaming,
Okay.
but it was just the fact that like it's just like the mindset of that.
Yeah.
Like my mindset was just, man, if I could just make my rent money playing video games, that'd just be it's up. Like I'm chilling. Now my mindset is just like I'm trying to get M's. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to figure out how to really get to it. So it's just like um that's what I'm saying. So it's like when I became an entrepreneur, it's just like it shifted my whole perspective on like money and like how much is actually possible to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm religious. I believe in God, and I remember like I always struggled because it's like there's two things. It's like in the Bible, like the wisest man that ever lived, David, all these guys were rich. There was gold in the Garden of Eden. And then, but you have like a rich man, like it's harder to go through a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. So I always struggle with these two premises. And like through my prayer and meditation, it's like money's very important. Like this podcast equipment, which this house, this games, like this computer, like everything, these lights, this camera, like in order to broadcast and to help the world, you need money. My biggest thing was like, as long as I'm tithing 10% and giving away my time 10%, I became very comfortable making money. But like now that I'm at, like, I'm 39 also. And now that I'm at this stage, I'm like, yo, I need the bag. Like, I do want millions. I do want financial freedom. I do want to be debt free. I do want to have multiple businesses. But it's not even just like the money that I do think that who you become is important,
Mm,
but I think being able to if you're not blessed, it's very hard to bless others. And so
yeah.
being able to like if I didn't get the bag and I didn't build my business, like if you got one gem from this podcast, like that would have never happened. So
All
like
right.
money also like pushes the message and pushes the narrative, and it's our way to fight back and because the system doesn't want you to be an entrepreneur. It doesn't make sense for them. They want you to be an employee. That's why they don't teach financial literacy. That's why I did the business mobile program. They don't teach business. They don't teach anything. And
See,
so
after that,
that's why like I think money's important. So I'm definitely trying to run up the bag. Um, what got you into the event space? Like, how did you even start that?
oh yeah. So that's a pretty good story. So like um pretty much like when my wife was pregnant with Amina, we had to plan a baby shower, right? So we were looking around at different places to have a baby shower, and like we weren't really getting like anywhere with it.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard. We ended up like renting this small space. It was actually in our own apartment complex. Um And I just remember like that whole experience. And like I said, at this time, I'm thinking about like starting a business and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I remember that whole experience. I was just like, man, this is a job. Like, you know what I mean? Like trying to go get the food, go get the decorations, get the venue, set it up, invite everybody. Like it's a whole list of things you have to do, right?
Yeah.
So, some time has passed, baby was born, everything. And then I just started like when Amina was born, that's when like I decided to really get serious because I'm just like, all right, like I got another mouth to feed,
Yeah.
so I gotta make more money. So um, we started doing Turo. So we did Turo for like maybe like almost 2 years.
How was that?
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. We never had any like, anything crazy happen or
Yeah.
nothing like that. Like car always came back in pretty good condition for the most part. It, it was just like it just felt like Toro just felt like a job.
Really?
That's the only thing. Like
Okay.
like even though like yeah, like they take the car, but like because this is the thing, like a lot of the times the rentals that at least I would get,
Yeah.
it's like they get the car for like 2-3 days max,
Yeah.
right? So it's just like you gotta drop the car off at the airport, and then you gotta go pick it back up, wash it, clean it back up, and then maybe drop it off again. But it's just like when they only book the car for 2-3 days, it feels like it's like a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like now, some
Same with like Airbnb. Like
yeah,
they get 30 days and it's passive income. And
right,
when you get them weekend bookings, it's like
right,
low key like annoying a little bit.
right, exactly. It's just like it just felt like a job. So it's like so then like I started just stumbling on someone teaching an online course about event spaces. So I ended up booking a call, um, and I joined the program for the event space thing. So that's pretty much like how it started. Like I just ended up getting into a mentorship program, and that was the thing too. Like I started educating myself more on YouTube, right?
Yeah. Real
And
quick, that's a bar because I think one of my goals with like the business mobile program is to be people's gateway into paying for education and to investing into education because I can tell story after story after story about how I bought in a book, how I bought and paid mentor. I paid upwards of $5,000 for a mindset coach. I paid $200. It was really 1,000, but I put $200 on a real estate program, and that opened the craziest door. Like I've bought, like I sat down with my boy. I paid two different coaches for business development, and like every single time that I have paid to educate myself, I paid this lady $700 to give me some business coaching, and even like the business mogul program was born from that, and what I'm about to do next was born from that. And so it's like I just don't want that to pass people's head. I want to take an extra second to say, like, if you have not invested in your education, whether it be a book, whether it be a course, and whether it be a coach, you're missing out. And like just to give you the steps on how to do it, what I like to do is go on YouTube and consume the free information. If you naturally gravitate towards someone, spend money with them and buy their course, because what happens is it's like you get everything. You get a 7, 10, 15, 1 year course, and it breaks down everything. I remember, I just side note on courses, I remember taking Ty. You ever heard of Ty Lopez?
uh,
He
yes.
had like here in my garage. I took a Ty Lopez course that was $67, and he gave hella gems. It was 67 different steps, but one of the steps was if something's. I had an eBay business. I always tell this story. I had an eBay business. I was making, selling 3 hoodies a day on average. Excuse me. I was selling 3 hoodies a day on average. I took his course and he said, if something's working, double down on it. So I was posting like 1 to 2 items a day. He said, hire 2 employees. He said, you don't have to start big. He's like, just hire 2 people. And the reason you hire two is if someone gets sick, you have a backup. I hired two of my homies. Within 3 to 6 months, I went from selling 3 hoodies a day, and every hoodie profit was 10. So I made 30 hoodies a day, about $1,000 a month, to selling 30 hoodies a day, just off of that information. But if I never paid that money, and that year I think I grossed like $200,000 from that eBay business. And now even with my vending and anything I do, I always have two people that I work with. I don't like to say people work for me. I like to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Right now, for my vending machines, I have 2 people who are trained to hit the same route. I have 2 people that I can hit up and say, hey, go hit this mission, go hit this mission. So that all
No,
for paying knowledge. I just wanted to take a moment because that right there is a huge gem.
no, yeah, that's smart. I like that. I like that. Just had always have two people because
Yeah.
that way you always got another person, and then even if that one person drops off, you still got one person who can still pick up, and also, you know what I mean. And also, that person maybe could even train another person
Yeah.
to take that person's spot. You know what I mean?
Who I have now was trained by I only trained one person so far, and they train the other people in the vending machine space. So
Right.
shirt stuff is a little bit different, but anybody on live, yeah. So yeah, but go ahead. I just wanted to say you bought the course.
Oh yeah. So I bought the course. So it was a 9 week course, but it became a 12 week course. But it was a 12 week course. Pretty much the promise is like he'll help you get an event space in 90 days or less. Um, I like I said, I got mine. Well, I didn't get mine in 90 days or less, but basically the promise is like 90 days or less, or we help you until you do, basically. So mine's went over a little bit of that time frame, but yeah. So I mean, pretty much um like that whole journey of getting an event space was kind of crazy because it's just like you have to do so many things that like I've never done before at all. You know what I mean? Because I come from like I'm just an electrician, so like I just you know put up lights, bro. You know what I mean? Like so now like I'm in a situation where it's like okay,
Real quick, you have a little just that's some stuff. You have
oh okay,
a little fly.
oh okay, yeah. So like one of the first things you have to do in that program is first of all you gotta set up your business properly, right? So it's just like the first step is, LLC, right? Get the EIN, get the business address, business phone number, business email, get a DUNS number. You know what I mean? I didn't know like I just ran through all.
Is Dunn's the credit?
Yes.
You got to teach me how to do that.
Okay.
I've
That's easy.
been in business. I don't. You know how to establish business credit?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And I need that play connections.
Yeah, like you gotta do all that stuff first because the strategy that he teaches is like basically you're going to use credit cards to fund most of the operation up front,
Okay.
right? And you're going to try to get access to 0% interest credit cards.
Yeah. I
as
use
much
that strategy for
as much as possible. You know what I mean?
personal credit. I didn't use business credit at all.
Right. Yeah. So I ended up using my personal credit too because like my credit wasn't in position enough to like get access to the business credit as much as I wanted to. I got a little bit of it, but not like a whole lot.
Okay.
So, but like I'll tell you this though, like because like you go on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And people say all these different things about like credit and money, and you can do this, you can do that, and like like sometimes you be feeling like it be sounding kind of cap sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it be sounding like man, you can't really do that, right? So sure enough, I'm following the play that this guy gave me, right? I go to what's it called? First Tech Credit Union.
Yeah.
So I applied through them and I got approved for a credit card. Now, any credit card I've ever had before this program had like $500 limit here, $1,000 limit here, $2,000 limit here.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, I do everything he says. Next thing you know, oh yeah, you've been approved for 25,000.
Oh,
I'm like,
wow.
huh?
That's crazy.
What?
That's crazy.
Like
He's spitting now.
just,
He's spitting y'all.
yeah, like I was just like, but the reason why I tell that story is because it's like that was the moment for me where I realized this stuff they talk about on the internet is real.
Yeah.
It's not fake. You know what I mean?
Sidebar for I had the business partner. I actually bought a home on the east side, fixed it up and flipped it, and then the world went crazy. But I use credit cards too. I had a fat chunk of change, but my business partner, because the more you put into a deal, the more equity you have. And most credit cards will get you in with 0% APR.
All right.
And so what I did was I applied, but she just told me apply for like 5 credit cards on the same day. And so I got I think I wound up with 3 credit cards at 6,000. So I got like 18,000 in credit cards. But you have to, like, side note, like, you have to have a business that's gonna cash flow. Like, just don't get 18,000 where you're like go crazy with a watch or go crazy. Like, I want to buy something that cash flows, that pays off the loan, and then after the loan's paid off, now you get your bread. So it's simple mathematics, but it's definitely bread out there, bro.
Right,
We
exactly.
gotta talk more though.
Yeah. So like I said, once I get that card, that was just like, oh, okay, so this stuff really worked. So I was able to get about 100K in basically funding
That's
through credit
crazy.
cards. Yeah.
That's
Like total amongst all the cards. So like not like one card, but like,
That's what you do. You
5,000 here, 6,000 here, 25
How
here.
many cards did you apply for, and what was the period that you applied?
How many cards did I apply for? Like maybe like um I mean it was a lot, bro. Like literally like maybe like 9 or 10 maybe.
And you just did them all online,
Yeah, I did them in a line.
like a day or two.
Yeah, like like I did it strategically, so it's just like, like I understood like which banks only pull from Experian, which banks only pull from Equifax or TransUnion.
And the dude broke you down. He taught you all that.
Yeah, he taught me all that stuff. Yeah, exactly. So it's just like that's how like I was able to get like all of that type of stuff going. So pretty much that's where I got the money from to start
Okay.
the business. So then like you have to go through, so that's just like one whole part. So you gotta do set up the business. Okay, cool. Second
Second at Baltimore, and you're dude. Dude. Go ahead.
yeah, so you set up the business. Then it's like, okay, cool. Now we gotta get funding,
Yeah.
right? Now, so the only thing that's left after that is you gotta find the space.
Okay.
So finding the space is probably it's like it's weird. It's like it could be the hardest part. It can also be the easiest part.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because like when I went through the program, and that's another thing about going through the program is that like it also helps you because like same thing like when you're trying to get the credit cards and stuff, or you're trying to set up the LLC, or you're trying to talk to the landlords and stuff. When you're going through it with a group of people, it helps a lot because like you see people's wins,
Yeah.
like in real time. Like somebody's just like, oh, I got approved for a $50,000 credit card. You like, what?
That's
You know what I mean? Or
wow.
I found my space in 2 weeks. You're like,
Wow.
you know what I mean? So it's just like when you're in that, yeah, exactly. So when you're seeing it in real time,
Yeah.
you double down. You're like, oh nah, like they just got their space that quick. Nah, okay, let me hit the payment real fast. And it's like,
Sidebar. You're spitting bars without even realizing it. Maybe you do, but another sidebar. Osmosis. So I didn't invite you into my home on accident. I didn't invite, like, I have my family here. Like, you see my family running around. That's where we lay our hay. But what happens is like I'm very intentional about who I keep around me, because if what we realize is possible, if I hang around, I don't know, a bunch of losers, then your reality is some loser stuff. Right. But the fact, like, we just had a conversation on how you raise $1,000, bro. So now, what do you think I'm more inclined? Like, instantly, my wills, like right now, my biggest thing is to pay off debt. And I didn't know if I would ever go back into debt. But I'm like, man, because I already know with a 730, 750 credit card score, I can run the bag back up to get another 100 racks, if not more. You know what I'm saying? You can, we're going to talk about the Duns plan and stuff like that. Maybe even do a part 2 credit off. But we're for sure going to talk about it. But being in the vicinity, if you see someone, I'll tell you the easiest hack. I just want to leave you guys with hacks. For me, I said, I did this podcast because it's very, like, normally you're not just going to sit here and talk like this, like, too much, just to be like, oh, you got business credit for 100 grand. Like, it doesn't really happen. But something is very special about a podcast because it makes the conversation more natural. And then once we're off the podcast, we know a little bit more about each other, and then we can go about our lives and continue to connect. But like Zoe from downtown, like, there's just certain people in the community that I didn't know from from the next person, but I seen what they were doing and I just try to build a connection. But my gym is if you see someone who's successful, who has an event space, who got 100K in credit, the easiest thing to do is one, either just say, hey, can I buy you a meal? Even if they're winning, buy them a meal. Hey, can I volunteer? Like he has an event space. You know that he's doing an event. Hey, after the event space, can I come help you clean up? Can I help their business in some type of way? Don't ask. And then when you're cleaning up, like, oh man, I seen on that podcast you got 100K. What's that play? And as you're cleaning, what do you think? Is like, no, I'm a gatekeep. Like you're like, this is what I did. This is, but
I mean, I need some shirts. I ain't gonna lie, like for real, for real. I need some shirts. Need some hoodies. My security needs some stuff. So for sure.
Close the deal here on podcast. Cost the surplus. So yeah, that's easy. That's easy work. But we'll get you set up. But do not if I wrote a book, 35 lessons I learned at 35, and one of them 42, and I don't know which one it is, but it's find the most successful person at your company or in your space and take them out to eat. That buying knowledge was one. Two, I can't tell you. I told you did a fix and flip. I bought a Moors, but I had been taking a dude lunch who was involved in real estate. And when it was time to do the deal, I said, hey man, I just took this course and I think I have enough to do a deal. He's like, I told him how much. He's like, you have enough to do a deal. Then I met the girl who helped me with the credit, but he was just like, hop in my car and he took me to a fix and flip property and he introduced me to my business partners, but it was that relationship started off of me bringing him a sandwich to his job and just building the relationship over years. It was just a brother who owned a Mexican restaurant. I was like, how do you own this? And he was like, I was like, can I bring you some, you gonna go eat? He's like, I'm super busy, but he's like, you could bring me a sandwich. And I brought him a sandwich and I just picked his brain. And 3 years later, I was broke when I first met him. And 3 years later, I had a decent little bag. And from taking him that damn sandwich is how I built the relationship and had that. So I just didn't want to skip over that part.
No.
Very important.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. So I mean, pretty much. So yeah. So get in the space, right? So pretty much, you gotta like contact different people. So like to find the space, you use like websites like LoopNet. That's the main one I use. Or you just like drive around and just look for lease signs. And but like I was kind of nervous to like call people because it's just like I don't know. I'm just like the type person like I feel like I gotta like know exactly. I don't like to not know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's such an uncomfortable because it's just like yeah, I got to call this person like hello, yeah, I'm trying to do this event space thing and blah blah blah. Like I don't even know what he about to say or what to expect over the phone, right? But like what I realized was is that like once I like made like the first phone call,
Yeah.
it's just like they'll say like some people are just like, "Oh yeah, like that might work," or some people will say like different things or different terminology. I didn't even know what it meant. You know what I mean? I would go back to the coaching program and be like, "Hey, he said it has a triple net lease. Like what does that mean?" You know what I mean? So it's just like um just different things like that, and like you start to learn the lingo and different things, and then like as you just keep calling, um, you start to understand like oh okay like what you should say, maybe what you shouldn't say, and you get more comfortable. So what was so funny is like so like when me and April we found the space actually like I was in so we had like we have like a weekly meeting with our mentor, right? And literally in the meeting, he was like, Josh, you got like 2 weeks or to find a space, bro. Like, he just like, he just said it like that. And I'm just like, what? Like, what you mean? He's like, bro, like I can tell, like you're mad close. Like, you got like 2 weeks, bro. Like you want to put some money on it or something? Like,
Yeah.
it's like what he was trying to do was he was just trying to like had that spirit of like almost like competition with me.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like man, listen, I need you to have that space in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So, and it's so funny because it's just like that's like one of those things that like you know I don't realize about myself. I'm actually like very competitive person.
Yeah.
So like when he said that, that kind of like made me go, man, I'm about to have it in a week. What are you talking about? Like 2 weeks? You know what I mean? Like So then now April remembers because after that, that's when like we were calling places on LoopNet, but what was our kind of like secret weapon was we actually so I would go to work and I would get off of work, we would actually just drive around like we would drive around Campbell, then we drive around Saratoga, then we drive around, these other cities like close by. He said that you shouldn't get a space further than like 20 minutes from your house
Okay.
because it becomes a hassle trying to get to and from the space. Like yeah, if I get a space that's like all the way out like towards Oakland or towards like Frisco, it's gonna be like kind of hard to like
Some
yeah, kind of burdensome.
messing with your property.
So that was like one of the like things that he told us like yeah like don't go far out. So we're just kind of going through the area and when we did that, that's when like I really started putting like just like a lot of volume. You know what I mean? Because now I'm calling like every number I see on a building, and I'm not even like, because like before I would like see a building and be like, oh, it's kind of big, so I know it's gonna be like a whole lot of money, per square foot, because real estate is per square foot. A lot of times, if it's like prime real estate, it's gonna be like $4 a square foot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, if it had a 4,000 square foot building, $4 a square foot, that's 16,000 a month,
Yeah.
and that's not including the other charges, which is the triple net I was talking about.
What is triple net?
So triple net is like it's pretty much like property taxes.
Okay.
So basically, it's so crazy because like to me, now that I understand this stuff more, it's actually crazy. Like it's crazy that they make you pay the triple net because it's like it's kind of like imagine if you rent or own this place.
I rent this place.
So like imagine if the owner of this property was like, "Hey, you got to pay the property taxes on this too."
That's Randall.
But that's basically what they do in the triple net lease. Is like it's crazy. But like, everything in commercial real estate is negotiable. So that's one of the things that you can try to negotiate.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, so basically we ended up finding the space cuz we're just going around and I went to one spot and I talked to the realtor there. He's like, "Yeah, this space is not available, but I think I know of a good one for you." And that's kind of how we ended up finding the spot that you found us at.
How do you like that space?
So far it's pretty good. Um, the only bad part about that space is when we initially acquired it, it needed like a whole lot of work,
Oh, okay.
like a whole lot of work,
Okay.
like, and at first it seemed like it wasn't gonna be that bad.
Yeah, just like floors and paint or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, that's basically that's what like my mentor told me. It's just like floors, walls, lighting, paint, get some chairs, tables, boom, you're done. Rent that joint out. You feel me? But like, um, the space was really messed up. Like number one, like so one of the things I did was like it had an AC unit. It wasn't working, but I'm an electrician, so I was able to look at it. I was able to get it working.
Yeah.
So when I got it working, I was just like, oh, you know what? I think this is it. Like we good, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe like a month after I got it working, it stopped working. So I needed to get a new AC unit.
Which is like 10 G's or something.
Yeah, exactly. 10 G's. Then like there was a when we first walked in there, it kind of smelled bad,
Yeah.
right? Guy told me, "Oh, it's cuz they cut the water off. You're just kind of like smelling the water, like the fumes from the sewer coming back up the pipe."
Yeah.
That wasn't the problem. It had like it wasn't the building's fault. It was actually the problem stemmed so far where it was the city's fault.
Wow.
But basically there was a leak basically. So, and it was like under the floor. So like
Did the city have to pay for it or you pay for it?
I called I didn't pay for it.
Okay.
I didn't pay for it. I had to pay for like some like there was some other stuff that I had to get fixed.
Yeah.
And then I paid a guy to fix like a pipe for me that was like it was clogged.
Okay.
So like but the thing is like he fixed it, but then it got messed up again. So then after that, that's when I call like the landlord's plumber. And then that guy actually sent the snake through the line and he got the snake so far down to where he recognized like, oh, like this not even your problem. This is the city's problem.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
God damn.
yeah, so I didn't have to pay for that, but still it still kind of affected like how quickly we were able to get open and
Yeah.
everything. So, but overall it turned out okay. Um
How's the as much as you can? So it's like getting in there, and I like that you talk about like the hidden costs because business is hard. Like all these, like you'll see the like with sales, they always the thing is you have to make it seem easy, you have to make it seem fast, and you have to make it seem like it's not gonna really affect your life. Like that's just a sales tactic, but that's
yeah,
not true. Everything takes longer than you think. Nothing's easy, and it's gonna cost more than you think.
yeah,
Like that's
every
any
time.
business every time. And there are gonna be things that you don't see. Hopefully deal with somebody who's semi-honest, but you always want to have a bag ready. So that's how you get in, and I think that's a good part. But I kind of want to, end on like how is the business of event space? Is it profitable? Is it like is there big money in it? Is it like a hidden gem? I feel like vending machines, like part of the business is like a hidden gem. Like it's just you can just buy these machines and it just is you pull money out all the time. So it's like a
Mm.
whole little business. Is vending I mean, is the event space like that? Is it like a cash business or is it like one day or you know what I mean? We call it chicken and feathers. One day you have chicken, one day you have feathers.
It's a little like that. One day you got chicken, one day you got feathers. But overall, yeah, you can make some money. Like right now, um like we're basically booked like almost every Saturday until like August right now.
That's dope.
Um I think like in May, I think it's like 9 events
Okay.
in May. Um so it just I think it's like it's tricky. It's tricky because it's like on one hand, it's like yeah, you can make a lot of money, but like I said, it's just it also takes like I told you this before. It takes a lot of work.
For
You
sure.
know what I mean? Like so
Sure.
like I think like when I first like you just said like it's the sales part of it. Like one of the reasons why I got into it is because like the my coach, my mentor, he
It was
kind of
the Nehemiah Davis program, was it?
no. So like he kind of made it seem like it's what do you call it? It's like it's almost like automated, like hands off,
That's
all that
that's
stuff. But it's like you can't really you can't really make it like fully automated because like I mean like you can, right?
yeah.
But I feel like it's kind of hard. At least I haven't figured it out yet how you can really make like good money while also well, we're still in the process, right? Like we're still in the process of training people to like do all the processes and all the things that need to be done. Um, but it can be a little stressful because it's just like, you know, you're paying this, you got this lease payment and all these like costs that they hit every month. They hit every month whether somebody come or not.
Yeah.
So it's just like you want to make sure that like, um, you know, you focus on the activities that's the most important that drive revenue into the business. You know what I mean? So like just
So
Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that.
so just like in general, like we talk super general, kind of if I wanted to get in the event space for a decent size, you know what I mean? We're going super average. Well, I don't know what the square feet is. What's like an average square foot building?
I mean, you're gonna want to do at least 2 to 4,000 square foot.
Okay, so we'll go in the middle. So if I got a 3,000 square foot spot in a decent area, how much do you think, rough, how much you think it would be to set up? And how much do you think it would be per month? And then how much could I make in profit on, you know what I mean?
I got you.
On,
So like,
on super average.
I mean, like it could depend. Like setting it up, it just kind of depends on how the condition of the building that it's in. I mean, you always want to do, you know, minimum viable product. So like, you know, you don't ever want to really want to go crazy. You want the place to where as though you can have an event. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe the lights could be nicer. Maybe the floor, maybe you could have marble floor But at the end of the day, as long as you got a floor and you got some walls, you got two bathrooms,
Yeah.
you got a place where people can prep some food, um, you got tables and chairs. I mean, you may not even need tables and chairs. I mean, you could partner with a rental company and just add that in your package, like, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
however you want to do it. Uh, but for the most part, like if you're starting up, I mean, you need at least probably, I would say at least like as low as like 40K and as much as like maybe like 70 or 80.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you put, we'll say we'll go middle, so we'll go like 60K. So
Mm-hmm.
you can start this business with about 60,000. And you're open for business on average. Obviously, you have to get your feet wet, get your name out there. There's advertising and all of these things, but how much could someone make off of a $60,000 investment? Maybe
Right.
monthly or like yearly?
Right.
If
I
you
mean,
are diligent, you're not some
right. I
bum.
mean, monthly, so like you can do, I mean, you're gonna have to do, you know, like if you have like you said, if you have like a 3,000 square foot space, you would have to be doing at least like 20,000 a month upward to maybe like 60,000 a month, something like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like for the most part, like me personally, we've done the highest amount we've done. So this is so first of all, I just want to put this out there first. So there's sales and then there's cash collected.
For sure.
So like so for people who don't understand that, sales is just like, hey, someone put their deposit down and then but I haven't collected all the money yet.
Okay.
Right? Cash collected is cash collected, money that's in the bank.
Yeah.
So like we've done over 50K in sales, but cash collected we've done like maybe like half of that, like 30K. You
Okay.
know?
How would you do sales of 50K and not collect on all 50K in a month? Just because people back out or
No. So it's kind of like because when you're booking events, right? It's like in January I can book 4 events in November.
uh
You know what I mean? I can book events next year. I could book
and they're
it
putting a deposit
and
down.
they're putting a deposit down.
Okay.
But that's still so like on a balance sheet, that still counts as money being made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like if I make if I have a package like for example, we got one package at our event space is it's 8,400 I think it's 8,499,
Yeah.
right? So like we've had like a couple people book that, but their event is not until like next year.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But that still counts as like, hey, I made that money. That money is made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like that's why I'm just specifying that. So like,
Okay.
cause like that's why it gets tricky because it's just like you have to be careful with like your cash flow. Cause like even though it's like I got money that hasn't hit my bank account yet, but at the end of the day, I still gotta pay this rent every month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like it gets tricky to manage like how much money have I done in sales versus okay, rent's due this month again.
Yeah.
Okay, how much is in there? Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Uh can we run some more ads real fast? You know what I mean? So it's like it's a lot of that sometimes.
Okay.
Um but so that's like the only thing, man. It's like just trying to manage cash flow. Like I said, that's something that I'm trying to figure out and
Yeah.
grow and understand. You know what I mean? That's not that may not even really be a problem. That's just maybe just a me not understanding exactly how to manage cash flow the way I need to.
For sure. And I think that's the thing. Like we're new entrepreneurs. Like no one taught us how to handle cash flow. I'm the same. You know what I mean? Like for me, I'm learning like it's just sell, 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 sell. Like you know that sales we scaffold problem, you know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm always trying to close a deal. But I'm always trying to serve my community. But so we'll say on average, so how much would my monthly rent be? And is it so how many of those $8,000 packages is that on average could I do four of those? So that's like $40,000. Would that be something? And my rent's 20. Could you walk away? If you had a really good month, can you walk away with 10 bands when it's all said and done? 20 bands, 50 bands?
Yeah, I mean,
Really
I
good
mean,
month.
I mean, you can definitely walk away with like 20 bands. You know,
Pocket.
in the pocket. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah,
I'm getting an event space.
yeah. You could definitely do that. But it's like I said, it's tricky. It's like for example, right? Like I said, one of the high, like because So one of the things about the business is like this, right? It's we sell dates. So dates are limited. So it's just like if you sell a bunch of dates, you naturally make less money the next month because you sold all the possible dates.
Yeah.
So it's like some because like I've noticed that because we've been open for 2 years now, so it's like I already knew the month we were going to make the most amount of money based on what we did last year,
Yeah.
right? Which was February.
Okay.
So like, but I noticed the same trend. It's just like okay, we went we hit an all time high, but then the next month it doesn't just keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I realized I think it's because of that. It's just like oh like there's no more dates. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? People call and say, "Hey, I need this Saturday." I'm like, "Hey, I'm booked already."
So you can't even get the bread.
So I can't even get the bread. You
That's
see what I'm
where the
saying?
second venue comes in.
That's where the second venue comes in.
All right. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I think I learned something. This was highly educational. I know how to now get 100 racks and 20K a month. You know what I'm saying? Let's run this back up. But all that being said, would you, I like a quick question. Like I want to only spend 2 minutes on this. I want to do a whole podcast. Would you do the debt thing again?
You know,
Or would you work your butt off and come up with the money?
I mean, I think that like if you if you go the route of trying to fund it on credit cards, it's super risky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like because you got to try to pay off the money. That's one of our problems too. Is like now all the credit cards are paid off, so it's like some of the cash that we're making is also going right back into those cards.
Yeah.
So like trying to if I would say I honestly I would still recommend doing the debt
Yeah.
because I'm gonna explain the thing that the reason why, right? So like the fact of the matter is that like in my opinion, it doesn't really matter how I mean, it matters, but it's like okay, yeah, it's real expensive if you fund a business on debt, right?
Yeah.
Because then you have to pay all the money back. What if you don't? It's 0% interest only for a certain period. Like what happens if you get that period ends and then now I'm getting the interest. You know what I mean? So it's like it's super expensive. But the thing is that like your business is also an asset.
Yeah.
So like and it's going up in value over time. And also like everything is valuable. So it's um like I guess my point is like this. It's like okay, yeah, the if you stack your bread up and then start the business, that may take you, 2, 3, 4 years until you got enough money to go ahead and execute on that. But like the reality is that when it comes to credit, I mean, you can realistically fix your credit and get funding in 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Realistically,
Yeah.
that's
That's
not
from like me.
that's not
1 year from
like
today, I could be
right,
debt free and get my credit to 800 and have 100 racks in 1 year based on
right
credit. But it's gonna be very hard to have 100 racks
in cash.
and cash in a
And
year.
and that's cash that's been taxed
Yeah.
versus debt, which is just like it's tricky. So it's just like, but like my main point is that like if you start the business, you start to build a brand, you start to build the referrals, you start to build the Instagram, you start to figure out how to run Instagram ads and Facebook ads. Um, so like so I'll tell you a little bit about the next spot that we're trying to get into, which is so it's actually very close to our place. It's over by San Pedro Square. So what's so crazy about it is that the person who owns the building is the former mayor of San Jose.
Oh wow.
So like so we've been talking with him about using his space. And the only reason why like I knew about the space was because there was a it's a theater. Basically the space is a theater
Yeah.
that there was a company doing plays in it. And the only reason why we knew about it was because the company actually got kicked out of that space
Wow.
and was renting um the storage area next to our space.
So it's just random flu.
So yeah, it's kind of random like how we ended up of realizing that space even existed. So then like I just happen to be on LoopNet all the time because I browse LoopNet like I browse Instagram. Like I'm looking at commercial properties just like all day. Like
That's crazy.
so like I
Again,
so it popped up and I was just like, oh, I already know what this is. So I already knew that it's already a location that would make sense. And I knew that it's a space that we could do an event space in the first place. So I jumped on it as soon as I saw it.
that's
You
dope.
know what I mean? So, but we're still talking about it. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Are you gonna use a little bit of credit for that? Or are you gonna go cash heavy or
for that, I'm probably gonna I'm probably gonna use my own cash for mainly for that one
okay.
rather than, well, it's gonna be a mixture. I'm gonna be using some cash and also some debt.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But it's just like, but like I said, back to the point of like, should you use debt or stack bread? It's just kind of like, the reality is that if I get access to that space, um, that space, maybe I could do 1 million in that space,
That's crazy.
like per year in
Yeah.
sales.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just like, do you want to wait? And then like maybe you wait and then like you try to stack your bread, something happened in life, something. It's just like to me, I just feel like the faster you go,
Yeah.
the better off you typically are, I believe.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna revisit the debt thing. I think in closing, I do think like here's my pros and like here's my cons. My pros are because I use debt to purchase my vending machine business.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened is I paid 80,000. I originally it was 100,000 for the vending, and it was generating 100,000. It was generating about $8,000 a month when I purchased it, and I made an agreement based off of that to pay. I'll give you the numbers: $3,500 a month to pay back that loan.
Okay.
And that was cool because it's like even if I break even, I think after the math was said, like I might have to come out of pocket $1,000. No big deal. Like I'm not tripping, but everything will be paid and it'll grow.
Mm-hmm.
Month after I purchased that business with credit, the business lost like it went from 8,000 to like 5,000.
Wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing.
Doing what it was supposed to be doing. So now I'm still responsible for at that time 100K. But because of what happened, I renegotiated it because it happened a month later. Like I'm not gonna pay $100,000 or $80,000 asset. So we renegotiated and we got it down to 80. But some other stuff happened. Like one of my employees wasn't filling a location properly, so I lost a location that did $20,000 a month. So now I went from making freaking 5,000. Now I'm at $4,000 a month, and my payment is still 3,500. So now it's like I'm paying 2 G's, 3 G's out of pocket every month, still trying to pay all my bills, still trying to pay off that stuff. So I think and now I'm like kind of like at this point, like I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. Like, so I'm like getting into debt with my business partners, and it's just became this like this thing that I did not like. And so that's like no one talks about that side of the business. If the business would have stayed doing 100K a year,
That's up.
it would have been up. Like I was saying, like I would have learned the business. I would have like stuff would have still broke. Like you know what I'm saying? Like if it would have done what it was supposed to do. But anytime you use debt and it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Fortunately for me, I had a business that could help fund it. But imagine if it was your first business or if someone put, you know what I mean? Like I would have been SOL if I wasn't the shirt plug, but even right now, I'm still paying that price. I pray, like, I think too, like, I'm not going to fully put it on like the business. Like at the time, I don't know. I'm anti like smoke and drink, here and there is cool. But I feel like during the pandemic, like I was smoking a little bit too much, drinking, and I let my money get a little bit funny. So I think it's like a combination thing. That's a different topic for a different day. But now I'm just like sober and like on my game. But I think it's very crazy. But my thought is I do think like, okay, it's crazy to wait. Like, okay, I need 50, 60,000, right? And so what I want to learn how to do instead of using debt is make better offers. So it's like, what offer can I create or what can I do that like make $1,000 offer? Like, hey, for $1,000, you get XYZ. Right. And it's like, how can I sell 50 of those in a year's time? And now I go into this business and I'm buying it. Like now I have an event space. And now in a year, off of these offers. I don't recommend going to a 9 to 5 and working because it's going to take you forever.
Forever.
But it's like
Yeah.
if you can put together an offer and you can sell a product like me, I just sell clothes. So I might put together like $1,000, maybe a $2,000 package, and it makes me $700 or something like that. And it's like, how many? And I just push that offer. So that's really what I want to go into. It's theoretical right now. So I can't say like, oh, this is better than credit. But in 2000, I said, hey, in 2020, not 2000, in 2020, I said, I was debt free. I had no debt. I said, hey, let me run these plays and see if debt's real. And I got 15, 20,000. And it's like, okay, that worked because I sold the property. I got my money back, paid off the credit cards, and I still had a profit. So that play worked. And then I was like, okay, let's do a bigger play with, let's do a 100K credit play. Actually, I put down 30 stacks. So, I used $70,000 in leverage, but that one didn't go very well. And it's like the one thing I keep hearing is like the servant, you're like the borrower is servant to the lender. And it's like,
Yeah.
at what point do we become the lender? And that's, I think, like my undertone message. Like, I think that it's cool to use debt maybe once or twice. And I think that we should have like for you, not, and I'm never going to speak for the next man, but like if I was in your shoes, I think the conversation for myself would be like, okay, I got the 100K in credit. I paid it off. Now let me just run up this bag in my next venture or even the third venture. I want to be all cash in and be 100% owner and eventually get away from debt. Cause like once you make $20,000-$30,000 a month, like how much up do you need to be? You know what I'm saying? Cause it's like every 3 months you can buy a new event space if you're making 30 racks a month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like getting to the point to where now these businesses are just buying businesses and it's just, you're not flashy. That's kind of the point that I want to get to. And that's like, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on debt. I want to like, almost like talk about it more. I don't think it's talked about.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. Like I said, like like I said, I think what I would tell you is just um like I said, I think it just depends on what you're spending the debt on. Um you just want to make sure, I feel like, you're spending the debt on something where at the end of the day, whether you win or lose, you win.
For sure.
So it's
I
just
think
like,
that was my mistake.
you know, so it's just like whether because I just feel like some of the skills and everything that I've learned up until this point is worth more than the debt.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, for me, it's just kind of like, you know, if you're just like, all right, well, I'm gonna just try to save up the cash, it just takes a long time. So it's just like you're just betting, and the resource that we have that's limited is time.
For sure.
So it's just like debt allows you to shorten time.
I agree, but I think, and I want to let you go. We can, by statement, you can, counter. But here's where, like, I agree with the time thing, but I also think that by cutting through time sometimes, people aren't ready. And I think sometimes the debt thing can cripple people versus I still think that, like, for example, say you're trying to get an event space, right? And you want to take a cash route. That's what you want to do. I still think you need to have a hard skill. Like you're an electrician, you can do side jobs. If you did 50 side jobs, you can come up with $50,000 like in a year. You get what I'm saying? Like there's 52 weeks. Like do a side job every weekend and you have $50,000. But you're gonna have to bust your ass. But you have $50,000 at the end of that year. So for you have what it takes to do it debt free. I think some people don't have what it takes. And I just think that it should be in the conversation or work 50% of the time, because I think you're going to value that investment 100 times more if you do it that way, and you have way more equity in it, and you're going to appreciate it more. Because I think sometimes when you're too quick to get this debt, you're going to spend it way more frivolously.
Yeah.
And you're not going to bootstrap it at all. You're going to just be like, oh, I have 100K. Oh, the plumbing's messed up. I'm going to pay 10 here. I'm going to pay 10 for this. I'm going to pay. But if you worked every weekend to get this bread, you're going to like, you know what? actually, I'm going to do some elbow grease, or I'm going to try to do it for 30, what other people do with 50. And I just think it changes the mindset. So I don't think debt is bad, but I don't think that should be hey, 100K. Like, I think we should
Mhm.
bust your butt a little bit, you know? I think it's a and type thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think it does make people a little bit lazier, and some people aren't ready for that transition. But how can people find you? This was an hour. We'll let you get up out of here. This is a great comeback podcast. You have some knowledge. How can people find you and book a space?
Yeah, so I mean, if they're looking for an event space, birthday parties, baby showers, weddings, anniversaries, definitely hit us up, theprestigevenue.com. Fill out the form and you can come down. Also, you can hit us up on Instagram, the Prestige Venue. And yeah,
This was dope. How'd you like it?
it was good.
Dope. All right, you guys, we're gonna get up out of here. This is another episode of the Part of the Culture podcast. There's a lot of game I learned from this. You know, I'm still on the fence about the debt thing, but I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay.